Hello and welcome to the France 24 debate. Tonight we're looking into the tensions and controversy surrounding the Russian convoy en route towards eastern Ukraine. Now the West has warned Russia not to try and mount any mission that has a pretext of sending troops into separatist-held territory. The Kremlin, though, insists, that is not its aim. Joining me to discuss this thorny situation tonight are Christine Duguin, a researcher at the Institute for Prospective Studies and Security in Europe, the IPSC. Thanks very much for being here. Also joining us from Moscow, we've got Mark Sleboda, a senior lecturer and researcher in international relations and security studies at Moscow State University. Thanks very much to you for being with us too. I want to start actually with you, Mark Sleboda. I mean, how credible are these claims from Russia that this really is merely a humanitarian convoy? There's no other pretext there.
Well, considering that the International Red Cross has already received the convoy's contents, volumes, I don't know if are you somehow expecting that some kind of Hollywood script where Spetsnaz agents would jump out of trucks and storm Kiev? I don't think that's really realistic.
The International Committee of the Red Cross, until very recently, have been saying that all their concerns and questions haven't been met, that they've agreed in principle, but they don't know the exact details of what's in the convoy trucks.
The most recent information I have is that they have received all the information. So I think your information is a little out of date.
Well, there seems to be a lot of confusion around this issue and a lot of back and forth throughout the day with contradictory reports. Let me bring you in here, Christine Duguin. I mean, do you accept the claims? Do you believe the pretext from Moscow that this is a humanitarian convoy sending aid in and there is no other pretext at all?
In fact, I think the situation is quite complicated because that's true that there is an humanitarian emergency in Donbass. Yes, it's true. But Kiev governments and other governments from West are quite afraid that this convoy just is a pretext in order to not necessarily, I mean, an Hollywoodian scenario, like our guest said, but they're afraid of different possibilities. First, as you said, a military invasion, but I don't believe in. I just won't say. For me, it's no.
That doesn't seem credible.
It's too obvious. It's not credible. So no, I think Vladimir Putin is not an idiot, so he won't act like that. But there is other options. First, it can be an attempt to install a permanent presence in Donbass. And I think that Kiev government is quite afraid about that. It can also be a way to mean of exfiltration of people which are coming from Russia and that don't want to be appeared in broad lights. And I think there is another point that we have to talk about. They are quite afraid. If ever there is an attack on this convoy, everything could increase because I don't think Moscow can accept an attack on this convoy.
I mean, that's the risk here, isn't it, Mark Sleboda, that this could then degenerate into further tensions into what's already a very volatile region. I mean, the Ukrainian authorities saying that they might not let the convoy pass if it's accompanied by Russian troops. I mean, this is a flashpoint being created here, isn't it?
Well, first of all, the Putin administration has been clear that the convoy is not accompanied by any military troops. That's a prerequisite of the International Red Cross standard for these situations. And so I don't think that that's a factor at all. I think the real factor that the Kiev regime and the Western governments that have basically financing and arming it while it mass murders a segment of what it claims is its own people is that this humanitarian aid convoy will expose this massive humanitarian catastrophe that's occurring in the Donetsk because of this state terror operation that's occurring there. We have the United Nations saying that over 800,000 people have fled the eastern Ukraine because of this, and that 700,000 of them have fled not to the Ukraine, but to Russia. And we also have Ukrainian parliamentary members this week saying that the real cost, the real body count, the real casualty count of what has been transpiring over the last 4 months is over 10,000 dead, and that the Kiev regime, at least the people at the very top of it, are hiding this.
Let's bring it back to the debate. I want to bring it back to the debate about the convoy at the moment, rather than going back over the past few months of the conflict. I mean, what about the claims from NATO saying that Russia is massing troops, some 45,000 troops on the Ukrainian border? Mark Sloboda, if you want to come in there.
Well, yes, of course, the Russian government is free to place Russian troops within its own borders wherever it wants. We have had over 30 incidents of Ukraine regime forces shelling into Russian territory that have not only caused considerable structural damage, houses, personal residences, but have also killed at least one border guard. We also have a constant stream of refugees fleeing the forces of this West-backed government into Russia. Now, of course, there has to be a presence on hand to control them. If Russia had any serious intentions of intervening in the Ukraine, and since I have family in the region, in eastern Ukraine, fighting for their freedom and their lives right now, I sincerely wish that was the case. Unfortunately, I don't think it is. I think that unless you see Russian troops there well over a level of 80,000, any topic of any type of intervention is pure fantasy.
I mean, is this just paranoia on behalf of NATO? Do you think, Christine Dugoin, when Anders Fogh Rasmussen speaks about the danger of invasion and highlights the troops gathering on the border?
I don't think I agree with Mr. Sloboda, because I don't think if they want to create an invasion, they don't act like that.
So why is the West so worried here then?
They are worried for many points. First of all, I don't know if you knew, but a separatist leader, just said that they are ready to counterattack. At the moment, Mr. Putin said that he is going to send humanitarian help. So it increased the paranoia of the government. Moreover, we perfectly know that the situation for civilians in the East is really awful, as he said about refugees and else. We've got many figures from United Nations. But you had to know that on the 6th of August, I think, during the United Nations Council, the representative of Ukraine just said there is not any emergency or humanitarian trouble in the East, because that's true. They are in a civil war, and in civil war, you've got damage, you've got wounded people, and it's really hard for them to just accept to say, we have many wounded people, civilians. So
politically very hard.
Politically level,
Ukrainian
have you seen on a political level? The Prime Minister just gave his demission at the end of July. Finally, he stay in his office, but it's really tense, and everything in Ukraine is quite tense. Economical position is difficult, political is difficult, and in the social point of view, it's really hard. So it's quite amazing. Moreover, Georgia is a great example of what could have been. So they had some reason to be afraid.
I'm afraid we will have to leave it there. Clearly, much more we could talk about there with both our guests. But we do have to leave it for the France 24 debate. Thank you very much, Christine Dugoin, there from the Institute for Prospective Studies and Security in Europe. Thanks to you very much also, Mark Sloboda, there in Moscow, a senior lecturer in international relations and security studies at Moscow State University. Thanks for being with us tonight. And thanks to you at home for watching. Do stay tuned to France 24. Plenty more news coming up for you.
Because a new page of history gets written every day. Because breaking news can't wait. Information. Everywhere. In all situations. On every subject. Understanding the world. Imagining the world. France 24, a different take on the news.